Today's hot lick uses the melodic minor scale in a really unconventional sequenced pattern to achieve maximum weirdness. Check it out. Well, hey there kids, and welcome to this week's installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your best buddy, Uncle Ben. That dang old melodic minor scale is a really cool one to fool around with. It's not something that you can just bust out under any old circumstance, but guys like Wes Houck and Nick Johnson are giving a lot of us players a lot of really cool ideas about how to use it to achieve maximum dark and strange sounds. I was kind of imagining this week's lick taking place over an E minor major 7 chord, but you could also use it over a B7 sharp 5, or even like an A7 sharp 11 chord. Just pretty much anything that E melodic minor would generate. But before we get into it and start learning about the melodic minor scale a little bit more, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. And as always, for a full time, be sure to visit my Instagram page over at Ben Eller Guitars. Give me a follow, find the tab for this week's lick, then upload a video of yourself shredding through it along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. Okay, before we get into the lick, I want to give you guys a little bit of perspective about the melodic minor scale and the way that I think about it, because this is one of those ones that's kind of mysterious to learn because a lot of people think about it in different ways. And I've kind of gone through all sort of different ways of thinking about it until I've come up with what I think is the most simple way to approach this scale. So I'm going to say too, this is fixed melodic minor. A lot of your music textbooks and stuff will tell you that the melodic minor scale is different ascending than it is descending. That's kind of the super old school rule for melodic minor, but these days pretty much everybody uses what we call fixed melodic minor, where it's the same ascending as it is descending. Probably the first way that I learned about the melodic minor scale was to say, think of a minor scale, like E minor, raise the 7th so it becomes harmonic minor, then raise the 6th of harmonic minor. But I found that way of thinking a little bit too complex, because it's kind of like I got to start with something I know, change it to harmonic minor, then change something in that to make it melodic minor. I just found that way too confusing to approach. Kind of the way that I think about melodic minor these days actually is to take something I know very well, which is to say the major scale, and make one change to it, and now it's melodic minor. This is a really cool thing you can do too to convert probably all of your major scale patterns that you know really well and turn them into melodic minor like instantly. All that you've got to do is take any major scale that you know. Like let's say E major, since we're playing in E, right? It's going to be E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? Take that scale, any major scale, and just lower the 3rd note. That's it. That's all you have to do to make melodic minor. So it becomes 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So in the case of E major, we just changed the G sharp, the 3rd note, to a G. That's it. And again, you can do that with any scale pattern that you know. If it's like a 3-note per string thing, just lower the 3rd, and suddenly you're playing around with melodic minor. Again, that's just one perspective on it. That's the way that I think about it that makes the most sense, is just to take a major scale, lower the 3rd, and then you're cooking. You could also learn it completely intervallically, as far as it just being 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That's a great way to approach it. You could also go the really hardcore rote memorization method of just memorizing what all notes are in that scale and find them across the board. I think that's probably the most taxing way to do it. But yeah, try out my approach. Just take a major scale, lower the 3rd, and there you go. See what it does for you. The chord I started with was an E minor major 7 chord. I'm fretting it like this. Open E, 7th A, 9th D, 8th G, 8th B, and 7th high E. That's a really cool sound. You've heard the Faceless use those chords all the time in their music. That is a chord that the melodic minor scale can can generate, because it has all the necessary ingredients for a minor chord, namely root, flat third, and fifth, plus it also has that groovy natural seventh. Remember, we said it's just like a major scale with a lowered third, so that means it has that natural seven in there, which combined with those other intervals sounds so spooky. So this lick is all built around a 3-note per string scale pattern. Let me show you which one I'm using here, that way you can get it under your fingers before we start talking about the lick itself. Some people might call this an A Lydian dominant scale because of the fingering that I'm using, but honestly it depends on the harmony. It depends on what chord it's being played over. If this is being played over that A7 sharp 11, then yeah, this would sound like A Lydian dominant, but I'm kind of thinking of it as being played over E minor major 7. Anyway, here's the scale pattern here. We're going to play 5, 7, 9 on the low E. On the A string here, we're going to play 6, 7, 9. On the D string, you're going to have 5, 7, 9. On the G string here, we're going to have 6, 8, 9. On the B string, you're going to have 7, 8, 10. And on the high E string here, we're going to have 7, 9, and 11. So the whole thing sounds like this. The sequence used throughout this entire lick can be summed up in the first pattern that we play. What I'm doing here is I'm starting off on the A string here on 6. So in other words, I'm starting on the lowest note of the 3 notes on that string, right? I'm going to start by playing that with either an upstroke or a hybrid picked right hand note here. And then on the low E string here, what I'm going to do is to play down its 3 notes. I'm going to play the 9, the 7, and pull off to 5. Not picking that last note makes it a whole lot easier to get the picking really working in this lick. So far we have. And then what you're going to do is to go to the highest note on the A string, so the fret number 9 note. And what we're going to do is we're going to play 9, 7, pull off to 6, and then play the highest note on the low E string, which is the 9 in this case. So that's kind of 2 different 4-note segments. And again, the picking is going to be, if you're using regular picking, up, down, pull, down, pull, down. I'll do it again. Up, down, pull, down, pull, down. I like this pattern because it generates some wide intervals, like that 6 that you got right there. That's pretty cool. And then from this last note that you ended on right here, what we're going to do is to go to the D string. So we got a little string skipping action going on here, which again produces a really wide kind of flat 5 interval in this case, which is really cool. So what we're going to do is to play the same concept, only starting from the D string pattern. So we're going to play the 5 on the D, A9, A7, pull to 6, and then we're going to go to the D string 9, 7, pull to 5, and then the 9th on the A. Next we're going to go to the G here, starting on 6, D9, D7, pull to 5. And then on the G here we're going to play 9, 8, pull to 6, and then D string 9. So far we have. Next we're going to go to the B string here, 7, G9, 8, pull to 6. And then you're going to jump here to the B10, 8, pull to 7, and then the G string 9. Next what we're going to do here is go to the highest part of the scale, which is going to be the 7 on the high E string, 10th B, 8th B, pulling to 7. And then we're going to go to the 11 on the high E right here, 9, pull to 7, and then play the 10 on the B again. That's kind of the entire scale sequence going through all 6 strings now. And the way I put this together is after I play that last sequence on the high E and B strings, I just play the exact same lick 2 more times. So I guess in total you play the high E and B string sequence 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm ending on the high E string fret number 7, which is a B note, which again is if we're playing over that minor major 7 chord there, that would be the 5 of that. And then the last thing that I ended with here is an inversion of that same chord. I'm playing the low E open, and I'm also playing the G12, B12, and high E11. That's that flat 3rd, 5th, natural 7th little set of intervals again. Okay, so one more time slow all together, starting on the A and E strings. 1, 2, 3. And keep in mind too that sequence will work with any other 3-note per string pattern that you know, like an A minor scale or something like that. You could treat it with that same approach. Be sure to pay really close attention to where those pull-offs and stuff are. That makes the picking of this entire thing a lot easier. It'd be great practice to alternate pick the entire thing, I guess, but for me, I like the tonal kind of change that using some legato inside of licks like that adds to it. Plus, it just does make the picking easier. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully that gives you guys some insight and ideas about some sequencing and that old melodic minor scale, which can sound so cool once you get your ears kind of wrapped around it. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more new lessons every week. And if you guys would like to, you can also follow me over on my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/UncleBenEller. You can follow me on Instagram at Ben Eller Guitars. And if you'd like to book some one-on-one Skype lessons to talk theory and technique and all that other good stuff, drop me an email, benellerguitars@gmail.com. Thanks again so much for watching, and like Carl Verheyen said, if you like it, learn it. Cheers, guys.